Hi everyone, and welcome to Lake Oswego United Church of Christ. My name is Adam Ericksen, and today I would like to talk with you about one of the passages that we're going to be talking about this Sunday at church, and it's from Jeremiah.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog!
No, not that Jeremiah. Jeremiah the prophet. Jeremiah lived during one of the most difficult times in the Bible. It was a time when Jerusalem was attacked and conquered by the Babylonian Empire during a 15-year period. So Babylonians came to Jerusalem, destroyed the city, destroyed the temple, and actually took many of the people living in Jerusalem throughout the Babylonian Empire and put them into exile. And it's this situation that Jeremiah comes into with a word of hope for those living in the Babylonian Empire. In chapter 29 of Jeremiah, he says this to those who are in exile: "Build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat what they produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease, but seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf. For in its welfare you will find your welfare." And there are two things that I want to emphasize from this passage. The first one is the last phrase: "In its welfare, you will find your welfare." And what this passage is getting at is how interconnected we are as human beings. We are fundamentally relational creatures. When we see someone else suffering, something inside of us suffers too, and the proper response to that is to try to do something to alleviate that suffering. Probably the best example of this that I've seen recently is a video about a letter that a 6-year-old boy wrote to President Obama. And this boy saw another boy from Syria, where there's been this horrible civil war. And he saw the picture of the boy whose house was bombed, and the boy is bleeding. And the boy from the United States sends this letter to President Obama and says, "Will you please go over and bring that boy back to my house and let our family adopt him so that we can play with him and we can give him our toys and he can come to school with us. And I have a Syrian friend named Omar and I want to introduce them together." This is an example of a boy who knows that even somebody on the other side of the world, that their welfare is somehow connected to one another. I would invite you to watch the video, I'll link to it here, of that boy writing a letter to Barack Obama, and we can talk amongst our family about that video and what thoughts it brings up for us, and also the idea that you don't have to go to Syria in order to find people suffering in the world. Where are people suffering in our schools, in our neighborhoods, in our families, even within ourselves? And how can we bring a bit of encouragement, a bit of hope into that situation? And this leads me to the second part that I want to emphasize with you, is this idea of building houses and building gardens. One of our themes for this year is creating green spaces for spiritual growth within ourselves and within our community. And this is what this passage, I think, is really getting at. During dark, difficult times is often when we can actively work towards spiritual growth, actively do things to make life better, not only for ourselves, but for the people around us too. And I was thinking about a way that you might be able to do this in your family. To represent this, you might take a clear cup, could be plastic, could be glass like this, and go in your backyard and fill it up with dirt and plant a seed in it, and it will remind you that green places, that life grows even in the most dark places. So yeah, let's go do this. Oh, you know what? It's raining because we live in Oregon, so I'm going to get my jacket. See, over time, the plant will grow, and you will see that in the darkness, life can grow. The other thing that you can do during difficult times is throw a dance party. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope to see you this Sunday at Lake Oswego United Church of Christ. We start worship at 10:30. Until then, grace and peace be with you.